What's up? This is Dave Rude from Tesla, and you're on Talking About Rock.
All right, today's guest started playing guitar at 9 years of age and grew up near Berkeley, California. He attended San Fran University as a history major, but left to pursue his music career. As it turns out, he was a huge fan of Tesla's five-man acoustic jam. He played around San Francisco club scene for a while with his own solo band. That's when Frank Hannon discovered him on his band's MySpace page, which led him to joining Tesla in 2006 with the Electric Summer Jam Tour. With that, his first studio experience with Tesla, the critically acclaimed Reel to Reel covers album came, and in 2008, the Forevermore album was released, his first studio album. And the upcoming release from Tesla, Homage, is due on July 17th. Let's welcome to the show from Tesla, Dave Rude. Dave, how's it going, man?
What is happening, man? Thank you for having me, man. You did your research, dude. Like, you know where I went to school, the cities, everything, man.
We take this very seriously on our show.
That's awesome.
We want our folks to know these people's history for sure, what's going on.
I love it.
So, yep. So let's dig into the album a little bit here. Tesla's first studio album in 7 years.
Yeah.
The first cover in 19 years. When I was reading that, I was like, holy crud. So why do you think this was the right time for this? I mean, it's definitely fantastic for sure.
Thank you. Gosh, you know, it just sort of happened organically, like really most things happen with us, you know. We had the last few years, really since COVID, we hadn't put out a record. We just would put out like a brand new single, like about once a year, and, you know, like an original song, and get together, record it. We all have home studios. It's easy enough to just do that. Get together, shoot a video, and then, you know, when we start touring that year, we've got something new to put in the set for like the diehards who want something new. New merch, you know, we got stuff to sell, stuff to put, you know, new artwork. It's kind of like a little mini refresh without the whole labor of making an album, because, you know, as most people know, there's negative money in making rock albums now. Like, you don't only not make anything, you pretty much lose stuff. So but we still, you know, we're still musicians and writers, so it's fun for us to write new stuff. We're really lucky to have all these dedicated fans who actually do like new stuff. So, you know, we want to kind of thread the needle and do a little bit of both. You know, most people, we're well aware, want to hear the old classic hits, and that's fine. That's what we love to do. But throwing in one or two new songs, that works too. And, you know, as long as the songs are good, people respond well. So that's kind of what we had been doing. And I think it turned out like, oh, let's do like a couple of covers and put out an EP, you know, later in the year. And this was a couple years ago. And so we started just recording stuff. Like, again, we all have recording rigs. So I think Brian had his Pro Tools rig out on the road. And we laid down some tracks in a dressing room here and there, and then it was like, oh well, we got some time off. Why don't we go to Texas, to where we recorded the Reel to Reel album in 2006,
Right.
And so we can get a proper drum take, proper vocals, and good mics with the real studio. So we did that, and then we, you know, all of a sudden now we got like 4 or 5 songs. Like, well, geez, why don't we do 4 or 5 more and make it a real record? And so then we went to Brian's new studio in New York, up in upstate New York, and he's got an amazing place up there called J Street Recorders, and we finished the album there, and then it, you know, at that point it all just snowballed. So it's like, okay, well now we've got a new album, and, you know, the difference is this time we really wanted to do songs that showcase Jeff's voice, you know, because he's got such a unique sound and such a great voice, and he's one of the rare singers in this genre, any genre, especially this sort of hard classic rock thing that we're in, where he's one of the guys who still has his original voice, and if anything, it's only gotten stronger. So we chose like weirder songs. There's not a ton of. I mean, there's guitar and everything, but it's not like Reel to Reel. It was like guitar rock, and there's 8-minute solos on everything. This is more like we're doing like weird old soul songs and 50s, things like old country songs, and then like more 70s stuff, but weird stuff that's really more vocal oriented. So you really get a ton of Jeff Keith, and that's so cool for people to hear how great he still is. Because I mean, some of these were like basically one takes. Like he could sing the phone book and it would still sound amazing,
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Jeff has such a unique sounding voice, and it's definitely stronger than it ever was, for sure. And that's definitely a tribute to him taking care of that. We know a lot of classic artists struggle with that. So, and the mix up is nice here. So again, we've got a new Tesla song, like we were talking about, Never Alone. It feels like an instant Tesla classic to me. Just when it comes out, it just gives you that feeling like you're at home. It's a Tesla song, and you got that warmth of Jeff's voice. You know what I mean? It's just the feeling is great. And then you got the cover coming up there, I Love You, from the Climax Blues Band, which I thought was a great choice. Really, when I heard that, it just seems to fit so well for this. You know
what? That actually reminds me. That was one of the other sort of kind of the impetus behind it, and this album is we were kind of playing around with, like I said, maybe putting out a few songs, maybe a little mini EP. So put it on vinyl, sell it at the merch booth. That's one of the only ways you can still make money on music.
Right.
Sell vinyl directly to people, right?
Right.
Like in person at a gig. But when we were sort of playing around with that idea, we started messing around with I Love You at Soundcheck. And our tour manager took some video for social media, and when we put it up on YouTube, it went kind of nuts and got like 1 million views or something. So it was like, oh wow, I guess people like that song. So
and we were your test audience right there.
Dude, we were like in gym shorts, like sitting around, like my hair is tied back. Like it wasn't like pro or like cool, like it's from way back. It's just like this big wide shot of like from 50 feet away. But people really responded well. So we're like, okay, well, maybe we should focus on that. And that was one of the songs we went and recorded at the studio in Texas, Sonic Ranch. And the video we actually shot in the live room, the drum room of Sonic Ranch in Texas.
Yeah, definitely. The song just fits the band's personality and sound just so great. So let's talk a little bit about some of the earlier Tesla for you. We kind of talked about it for a moment here. The Forevermore album was your first original with the band. For me, it was almost like a true rebirth for the band with that album when that came out. You know what I mean? It kind of it gave you a little bit of each. It was almost like a rebrand, but it still had all that classic Tesla style in it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. That was a blast, man. I mean, I guess you said I grew up as a huge Tesla fan, so that was the first time I got, made the double album Reel to Reel. So it was a lot of recording time and a lot of touring in those couple of years, but it was, covers that we didn't write. So to actually get to write together, and the guys were always totally cool, totally open, and really like encouraging and supportive. Like, hey, you got any riffs? Let's bring in some songs. Let's write songs together.
Right.
Which is like, I mean, that's pretty.
And that's not usually the way. I was going to say that's not usually the way. So especially for you, you're stepping into a band that already has a lot of history to it. So sometimes they want to be a little more conservative and say we want to write in this style or in this way, or maybe the new guy doesn't even get input just yet, right?
I mean, a lot of the time, right? Like that movie Rockstar, right? It's the same deal. Like, Joe, hey, I got my ideas. Like, the record's already done, dude. Like it could have been that. But that was one of the cool things from the get-go is like from the day one, they're like, no, we want you to be a part of the band. We want you to be like, we want your input. Like, it was amazing. Like, again, so lucky because that's not usually the situation. It was really great and so fun, and it was making Forevermore was, it was great because it was it was all new for me. It was the first time, but like, that one we did really, we did a lot of like kind of writing in the room and jamming, and we were touring a ton in those days, so we would be out on the road for a month and we'd be home for a month and then out and get, it was kind of like year round. We were gone every other month, like 6 months of the year we were out, but with a month in between. And so the months home, we then just go into the studio. And so it was weird. Like, it took a while to make because we couldn't ever just have 6 months in a row.
Right,
but,
right.
It was still so it was a little hectic, but it was great, and it was super collaborative. Like, I think we credited all those songs just to the band and Terry Thomas, who produced it, because we did kind of work everything out together in a room, which was a different way of working, but really, really fun. And the guys are great. So it was, like I said, it was always just a really welcoming and creative environment.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the shows in 2008. You guys played shows in Europe and the U.S., including the Sweden Rock Festival, Grass Pop Metal Meeting, and Rocklahoma, of course, was another great show. And then in 2008, July 15, you did the TESLAHe Coming At You Live 2008, which you guys recorded at the Myth Nightclub in Maplewood, Minnesota. That was amazing, man. Definitely amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was a blast, man. That was, we haven't done a full, like, official, like, live DVD since. So I don't know if they still do it this way, but because now with cameras, it's, GoPros, and it's easier. But, like, I mean, that was the full deal. There was a big, like, a semi truck, like Rolling Stones mobile studio back in the day.
Right.
And they had, like, those big tracks with dollies and, like, the giant crane cameras that would, like, go in, like, the crowd had to stand around it, and the thing would move, and there's, like, people running around and stuff.
Right.
It was like we had to do a whole production day before, where they were, like, in there blocking their shots. Like, it was so cool.
Now they do the live events where you got to pay for the event tickets online, and they do that type of thing. Right. That's how it rolls now. But yeah, the DVD was the big thing back in the day. DVD live concerts, and you know, you get some extra cool stuff in there sometimes with it as well. But so let's move forward a little bit. So in June 2013, TESLAHe released a new single, Taste My Pain, on iTunes. They released their 8th studio album, Simplicity, on June 6, 2014. So that was kind of a big deal back then at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Simplicity was super fun, man. That was another that was a blast. That was another one that we kind of wrote together. We got in a house in the middle of nowhere in Virginia and jammed. We set up the drums in the living room, and it was like a high school garage band. We just were, like, playing, and, like, we came in with ideas, but we did a lot of writing in the moment too, and that was a blast. And then we recorded it back at J Street when Brian had his studio in Sacramento. We recorded it there. He, like I said, he moved it to New York now, but that was a blast too. It's always fun going to the studio. Like, I'm always down to make a record. It's great. It's just, the industry has changed so much. It's really touring based now, way more than recording based.
Everybody's trying, things a little bit differently nowadays, right? Maybe they'll release an EP with a couple original songs, or maybe they'll do something live with one original song, or like what you guys are doing. You're doing an original song and some cover. Everybody's trying different things to see what kind of fits in this ever-changing digital streaming world, that we're in now. Obviously, I grew up in the days where, you bought an album, you stared at it for 2 hours to try to figure out if it meant something on that photo, right? Or it lined up with something.
Yes.
But it's definitely changed. So let's go ahead here. In 2015, the band toured with Def Leppard and the Styx. And then in August of 2016, the band released the Mechanical Resonance Live in a celebration of the album's 30th anniversary. And what I thought was really cool is the original album also includes a single, Save the Goodness, written and produced by Phil Collen of Def Leppard, which I thought was fantastic there for him to get in and doing that with you guys.
Oh, man, yeah, that was a blast. Like, Phil's a good friend, and, we all, we were hanging out so much on that tour, and especially on a tour like that, for us, being the opening band, we didn't have anything to do all day. Like, we didn't get sound checks. We kind of did our, like, 45-minute show, and that was it. But up until that point, we're sitting around. So I said, we all had our Pro Tools rigs. So just chatting with Phil, you know, he was like, "Hey man, I got this song I wrote. I think it'd be great for you guys, and you know, let's demo it out here because you guys got your rigs anyways and got all this free time." So, you know, he'd be going back and forth to sound check or, you know, some workout session, and then he'd come and we'd be in our dressing room and we'd start recording stuff. And then it turned out to be like, oh, that's great. And we did redo that or redo it. Some of it, I can't remember if we redid it all. I feel like we kept some of the guitar tracks from the demo and then in Brian's studio, and it went so well. That's how it led into him producing a full album for us a couple years later.
Yeah, he produced Shock for you guys, I believe.
Yes.
In 2017, you guys released it in 2019.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that was just so cool to see that. Obviously, Leppard still puts on a fantastic show. And, you know, classic artists, they've been around for a while, but still killing it, still selling out shows. It's always great to see that.
They are great.
Going on for them. And Vivian Campbell obviously can't say much more than that, right?
Amazing, dude. One of the best bands ever.
Yeah, definitely. So let's bring it back here to the latest album. So the first studio album, like we were saying, in 7 years. The first covers album in 19 years, Homage, you know, due out July 17th. I think this sounds great. What you guys have got out so far, you know, what I've listened to, I think the people are going to be really, really digging it. And you got an amazing tour coming up too to kick that off, man. I'm waiting for you to come to my hometown. Mötley, Crüe, Extreme, and TESLAHe. What a package you got there.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Like, I mean, I grew up, I'm still, and since I was, you know, 11, a huge Mötley Crüe fan. So this is like, you know, it's like we're going on tour with Spider-Man. It's like, whoa, it's, you know, it's like superheroes from your dreams. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. And we've played with Mötley through the years randomly here and there. Up until they, you know, their farewell tour in like 2015. I think that was the last. They did like I feel like they did an off night on that run because, you know, they were doing the whole farewell thing with Alice Cooper. And I'm pretty sure we did one off night of like a fair somewhere. Like I remember it was in like a cornfield in like Iowa or something where we got to support them where it wasn't Alice, it was just us and them in the middle of nowhere. And it was amazing. You know, like, again, it's like 13-year-old me is just like, that's right, Crüe, you know. And like now with John 5, I love John 5. We're friends with him because we met him when he was out with Zombie. We did a bunch of Euro festivals with those guys and you know, became friends with him then. So just I can't wait. And then of course, you know, Extreme. I mean, Nuno Bettencourt, like every guitar player loves Nuno, so you can't go wrong.
I think so many people were hoping for that to come back around, right? When you saw Nuno come out and played, you know, with the Back to the Beginning with the Black Sabbath thing, we're all like, is this happening finally? Is this going to happen? We've been waiting for this. Are you just teasing us? You know what I mean? As sometimes, you know, they're just testing the waters to see what's going to work and what's going to not. And yeah, it was so good to see that. Definitely loving all that stuff for sure. So let's talk about some of the other stuff you got going on. In addition to your work with TESLAHe, you write and produce songs for pop country and rock artists in Nashville, Stockholm, Los Angeles, and San Fran. So you're all over the place, man.
Yeah, man. You know, I love to write. About 10, 15 years ago, I got really into writing outside of TESLAHe, and because I'd always done solo stuff, like you said, that's how Frank found me in the beginning. I was doing
on MySpace. We're talking a little bit back,
old school, right? Yeah, and so I'd always done that. I'd always done solo stuff, and for 5-6 years, I was really doing a ton of solo stuff. Right when I joined the band, I was really pushing that, and then after a while, I was like, kind of ran its course, and I got really into just the sort of art of writing and like being in that. So I started going to Nashville all the time and writing with a lot of country writers, pop writers, and just everybody. And then now more recently, I've been doing more like rock co-writes, and it's really super fulfilling. It also gets me more excited to write, and I'm already now working on more solo material. I put out a solo record in 2023 called Through the Fire, and that was really fun. But that was like something I was sort of working on the back burner in and around Tesla stuff. Like whenever I had a little free time, I'd work on it. So it took like literally a decade. It was like the Black Album, right? Because it took so long. But really, the songs were already old by the time they came out because I'd written them way in advance. So now I'm like, oh man, I'd really love, because I've got recording stuff, I can do like 90% of the record at my house.
Right, that's how a lot of people do now. Yeah, for sure,
dude. So yeah, so I'm already working on another solo record, and a couple months ago, I went on the Monsters of Rock cruise 26, and Tesla wasn't on it. We normally do it, but this year we didn't do it. So I went on and did some solo gigs with Dan McNay on bass from Great White and Montrose, and then Mike Vanderheel, the drummer in Y&T, played drums with me, and did 2 sets on there of all my old solo material. And man, it was the most fun. It was so cool. So got me really energized to do more solo stuff. So already talking to a booking agent about doing some dates after the Mötley run. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing some more solo things now too.
Cool. So you maybe got some people you're thinking about tapping into for some of this newer solo stuff. Maybe some of the folks you played there with.
Yeah, I would love to.
Out there,
Exactly, and that's the fun part is the collaboration. So we'll see. I've definitely got some guys in mind, and then aside from that, with all the writing, one other sort of avenue I've been doing is I just started a YouTube channel, and it's so far. I just put up one video so far where I wrote a new little mini song, just instrumental thing, just jamming like a rock riff thing with some solos, and chatted about one of my guitars, and just sort of sticking my feet in that little water there and seeing how it goes. But it was super fun because again, it gave me an excuse to write something and record, and I love to do that. I like to make new stuff. So that's another thing that I'm really focusing on right now. And during the Mötley tour, I'm going to probably be doing a lot of that because we'll probably have some downtime out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the last thing I got to kind of ask you a little bit about, I like to check in with different guitarists, especially on what their gear is, what guitars they used to like, what amps they do. Some people are very, very picky. They'll only play out of Marshall. They'll only play in a Gibson. Some people are picky. Some people like to change it up. And some people are tone chasing still. They're looking for that specific sound, Sure. Where would you say you are in that?
I mean, not picky, but I maybe a mix of two of the three, because this is my number one touring guitar. We're rehearsing here, so I took it to my room. But this is just my main Les Paul from Custom Shop in 2007, I think. From the Gibson Custom Shop.
Classic, yep.
Oh, I love it. It's been my main sort of number one touring guitar. I call it Zebra, and it's really all Gibsons and Epiphones for me, but and I do I guess endorse Gibson Epiphone still, and I put out a signature model Epiphone Flying V in 2019. So really in with that sort of camp, but even if I wasn't, I play them because I like them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Years before I had any relationship with the company, I was only playing Gibsons and Epiphones, and I was just buying them because I love those guitars. And so that's sort of the thing. And also with Tesla, it's these are called humbucker pickups. It's a Les Paul sound, and that's kind of the sound. Frank plays a Fender kind of single coil sound on certain songs here and there, but still for the most part both of us are big meaty humbucker sound, so it's kind of got to be a guitar of this style. So again, it's not like a pickiness, it's just this is what I like, and this is what works with Tesla. And I play Friedman amps, which are that classic big rock style sound, and just the best. Dave Friedman made me a custom Brown Eye 100 head last year that I've been using ever since, and we're gonna really get to put through its paces on the Mötley tour this summer. So, I mean, there's no shortage of tone. I'm excited to keep chasing more, because there's always a new delay pedal or a new overdrive and another one of these, because it'll fill the Les Paul shaped hole in my heart one day.
Yeah, definitely very cool. All right. Thank you so much, Dave. All right, so folks out there, the new album from Tesla, Homage, out July 17th. Very, very cool. And you can catch Tesla out on the road. They're Still Keeping It Real tour in 2026. And as special guests on Mötley Crüe's The Return of the Carnival of Sins tour with Extreme. You can check out all the dates at TESLAHeband.com. And you can check out links to the latest Tesla video, Never Alone, in our Hall of Video at TalkingAboutRock.com. All right, so that wraps up this episode. Thank you to my guest today, Dave Ruud from Tesla, and to our audience. We hope you're doing your part by keeping the torch alive and supporting live music wherever you are. Dave, again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. Great talking to you.